Here at MassDOT. Thank you for being here today. You'll hear from our highway administrator about our response to an incident in the Pru. So with further ado, I will pass it to Administrator Jonathan Gulliver.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for coming. So again, my name is Jonathan Gulliver. I'm the State Highway Administrator for Massachusetts. We're going to be talking about an incident that happened this afternoon in the in the Prudential Tunnel. So a section of non-structural concrete. So this is concrete that was being used as a bridge joint. If you're familiar with Prudential Tunnel, there are areas that are exposed up to surface roads. This was one that ran a portion of the tunnel that ran under Huntington Ave. It's an expansion joint for the tunnel that had a failure in it. This is due to freeze-thaw action. So we've been in this stretch of weather over the last few weeks now where it's been very, very cold. We just came out of a storm over the last weekend where we had some serious rain and ice. We believe that ice infiltrated this particular joint, and then with a thaw that we had today caused that concrete in the joint to delaminate and fall to the ground. So our initial assessments indicate that it was a freeze-thaw cycle that caused this. It's something that typically does happen on bridges during this time of year. We actually have a freeze-thaw inspection program to try to identify those. This was obviously, though, unexpected. Fortunately, there was no injuries and only some minor vehicle damage, and our crews were able to get out there and address it very quickly. So I first and foremost want to address that the tunnel is safe. Again, this was a non-structural portion of the tunnel that the failure occurred in, and it's in an expansion joint, which is about a 4-inch wide joint that allows the tunnel to move as it would through its natural course. It's very localized. And although we did go through a closure and make sure that there was no other major issues, we didn't identify anything. We're going to, as a precaution, come back and shield that particular joint tonight. Crews are going to be actively inspecting any other areas throughout the state as well, especially throughout the tunnel systems tonight. Out of an abundance of caution, I've ordered our team to go through all of our tunnels looking for similar joints to see if there's any other freeze-thaw action that we may have missed. That will include the Ted Williams Tunnel, the Tip O'Neill Tunnel, the Cana Tunnel, the Prudential Tunnel obviously is going to be our biggest one. That's one that has, again, a lot of surface roadways. But in addition to that, the Sumner, the Callahan, and the Storrow Tunnel will all be looked at tonight to see if there was any other similar failures. These inspections are going to be assessing any other vulnerabilities, but again, obviously very focused on seeing if there's a similar delamination that may have occurred to ensure that there's no other danger of falling concrete to happen. We're going to continue to monitoring the conditions again, especially throughout the Sumner Tunnel. Especially throughout the Prudential Tunnel, which does have a lot of these joints. And if any other additional issues are identified in the Prudential or in any other tunnel, we're going to take whatever action is needed throughout the weekend to make sure that those systems are safe. Again, we're very grateful that there was no injuries or serious damage as a result of this, and we appreciate the public's patience this afternoon and then again throughout the weekend as we're going to be doing a number of these closures to make sure that we don't have any other major issues that we need to address. Something to be aware of, that this particular tunnel, as all of our bridges and tunnels throughout Massachusetts, is on a regular inspection cycle. We have actually been actively inspecting the Prudential Tunnel over the last month and a half. It has just not progressed to the point yet where they had gotten to this particular bridge joint. So despite the fact that we have an active ongoing inspection effort, this particular joint had not been yet inspected and was going to be scheduled to be inspected sometime in the coming weeks. Again, very thankful that there was no serious injuries or any other type of serious damage, and we're going to continue to inspect all of our infrastructure to make sure that the public remains safe traveling through our tunnels and through our roadways throughout the state.
What were the dimensions?
How can you guarantee public safety when people have their eyes on the road, but there's concrete falling and people don't know when thaws and freezes are happening? I mean, should people be looking up as they're driving through tunnels?
Look, we don't want people to be stopping in the tunnels or in any other part of our infrastructure to be worried about it. It's something that we do on a regular basis, is make sure that we inspect them, that they remain safe. Do incidents happen like today? Absolutely. They are incredibly rare. You know, this is the first time in 8 years that we've had to be in front of you talking about something like this. that I can recall. So I know it's not something that happens very often. And thankfully, we do have a very robust program to make sure that we try to address these as they happen.
What were the dimensions and the relative estimated weight of the material that fell? And just what was the nature of the damage? Were windshields broken? Did cars collide?
So the dimensions were approximately about a 4-inch piece of concrete that was about somewhere around 4 to 5 feet long in total that we had to chip out, maybe a little bit less than that. Obviously, that's I can't tell you the exact weight of something like that, but that's certainly enough to cause some damage. The damage that was done to the vehicles did not go through anybody's windshield. My understanding was more from them driving over it after it had landed in the roadway.
How many cars were actually hit by some of the debris?
I can't say. I know from our observation, it looked like it was about 2 or 3 that drove over the debris after it had fallen. Again, it didn't fall directly on any car. It fell right in front of them from, I think, the video that everybody has seen. So thankfully, it was not worse. It could have caused some serious damage had it gone through somebody's windshield, for sure.
And what does delaminate mean in this context?
Delaminate means that usually concrete is bonded onto whatever surface it's on. In this case, it's a bridge joint, which is a gap that allows normal expansion of the bridge and the structure, the tunnel structure in this case. Delaminated means that there was a separation between that bond, so the concrete became loose within that joint. And when you had weather today, like things started to thaw out, the ice that had been causing pressure on that joint and had been holding that concrete in place loosened up, and that allowed some of that concrete to fall. That's how these type of failures occur.
Can you explain how ice gets to the roof of a tunnel? I'm confused. Is there a Huntington Ave above it? How does it work?
Huntington Ave is directly above this portion of the tunnel, so this is an area where the Prudential in general acts mostly as a bridge throughout a pretty sizable portion of the tunnel. Obviously, where it goes under the building, it's a true tunnel, but there's areas where you have surface roads that cross above them, and they have these joints that are, again, allow normal expansion and contraction of the infrastructure around it. So this one has a direct basically a roadway running directly above it. That's where the water infiltration occurred.
Do you know exactly when that particular joint was last inspected?
I can't say exactly when, but again, we're on a regular inspection program for all of our bridges and tunnels.
And how regular is it?
It's at least every 3 years. I believe that we can find out for sure, but I believe the Prudential is on at least a 1-year cycle. So it's more frequent than a lot of our other bridge structures.
Are there any records that I can request?
There is.
Okay.
Yep, we have regular bridge inspection records that certainly we can make available to you if you want them.
Just to go off of that, how old is that section of the tunnel? Do you know?
It's one of the older sections of the tunnel. I don't know, guys. Anybody have any ideas on the full age?
I would say in the 60s.
Yeah, so somewhere around 50s, 60s. We can get the exact age of that, but it's obviously not new.
And when will all the lanes of traffic be completely back open?
So they're all back open now. We've opened up all the lanes, is my understanding, unless I don't want to misspeak here. As of about an hour ago, we completed our initial assessment, removed some additional loose concrete around that immediate area. Didn't see any other issues, and we're going to be coming back tonight when traffic is lighter to do a more thorough inspection of it.
What time did it happen?
I believe it was around 1:30, 2 o'clock, correct? Yep.
Do you think this is all just a fluke and that people shouldn't worry about it when they get on with their travel on the Mass Light?
I want to assure people, I drive through the tunnel. I drove through it to get here today. I'm going to drive through to get back. It's our infrastructure is safe. Do things happen? Sure. They happen just like potholes happen. It's actually the exact same weather action that causes potholes that causes things like this. It's a very, very rare occurrence that we have a failure in a joint for anything overhead. It's something that we keep typically keep a very, very close eye on. And again, this was under active inspection right now to try to avoid this exact kind of thing that happened. They had not progressed to that point, but again, I want to really assure the public that this is not something that's a frequent occurrence. Thankfully, we do not have a lot of issues. Although we do have structurally deficient structures, we take particular caution when it comes to anything that may be a falling hazard.
I noticed last Sunday going northbound in the O'Neill Tunnel that there were some icicles coming from the roof. Does something like that predicate something like what happened earlier today?
In part, yes. We have what they call freeze-thaw inspections. We're actively doing them right now on both our bridges and our tunnels. The reason you probably didn't see the icicle next time you went through is that we call those in regularly, but our maintenance crews on just regular nightly closures will address those. Or if it's something that's deemed more immediate, they'll get in there and knock those icicles down too. And those are the ones that we want to hear about. If the public sees something that they think is particularly problematic, please call our hotline, and we will get out a crew to address those.
All right. Thank you very much, everyone.
All right, thank you.